Ebusiafo ne adɔfo ma nyina akwa abiem. For once ni sese wan subscribe and bomodian subscribe and sene bia niam ahodo a trend niam ahodo a koso a den sabeto other platforms so no higher na chese any dikan any haso na ni nyina den twegumemfo wani nchi bia on sake bisusu ano like ya share ama onua so sake no so iden hudi ku bien so bredi yin fe ni nchi sa bia tu fa ye ni achimo Supreme Court a chese ruling a chese nyina no longer waited no yin nyina twen se Supreme Court interpretation na chese koso about the 4-seat chese a speaker declaring vacant na afenyoma ken edwane koto Supreme Court omomfa interpretation bra no enne on the 12th of November and chese interpretation na aba chese enyansan keto sa bredi ni chemo Supreme Court just lawyers for no judges for NPP MPs for dodona so na den akwa go just ruling no ababa betodwa mame tokono on a Chief Justice for Ghana as we speak on a day ruling by na ruling na akwa saying na nsembe na attorney general waka yen sembre yen kodin kwetine ready call
and John Bosman. Hello, my ladies, please the court. Godfred, your boy, Dami, Yatendra, appearing with Alfred Tia, your boy, Deputy Yatendra. Miss Dana Asnabadapa, Deputy Attendant. Dr. Sylvia Absu, Chief State Attorney. And Miss Victoria Adotti, State Attorney.
Principal State Attorney.
No, Chief State Attorney.
Chief State Attorney. I'm sorry for you.
Yes.
And
Victoria, Miss Victoria Adotti. Adotti. State Attorney.
In a majority decision of 5-2, Lovelace Johnson JSC and Amadou Tanko JSC dissenting on the issue of jurisdiction, the plaintiff's action succeeds. The full reasons and orders of the court shall be filed with the registrar by close of day tomorrow, 13th November 2024. This is the judgment of the court.
Most grateful.
didn't you understand?
But the point I'm making is that whenever the court speaks, it has a clear and emphatic order. Even if it's a very narrow majority, that's the decision of the court, and that decision must be respected. And I'm saying that it results in a degeneration of our society and a destruction of our democratic order for anybody at all to refuse to comply with orders of the Supreme Court. And I think that's non-negotiable. It's something that we must all respect. I have heard some statements by certain political actors to defend that the case ought to be withdrawn and that there ought to be negotiation and all that. I'm quite surprised because indeed, firstly, I did not hear such expression of a willingness to negotiate a law or maybe such instruction to the speaker or direct suggestion to the speaker for negotiation and law when the speaker started embarking on this act. And I think that for me it's very important that the Supreme Court ruled upon this matter because it is something that had been occurring in this country. A tendency for it to occur really was there. A tendency for it to occur again was there. It was necessary that the Supreme Court came to this clear conclusion and determination of the matter. The meaning of Article 97 Clause 1 paragraphs G and H. And I think we must all respect it.
What do you expect to happen in Parliament? Parliament is currently on break. What do you expect to happen with the Speaker of Parliament in particular also?
I think the Speaker of Parliament himself, to start with, indicated in his address to the press last week that the case raised very serious legal issues. Those were serious legal issues and matters bordering on governance in the country. And first, so I must express my shock at this refusal to even file a process. If indeed the Speaker of Parliament himself recognized that the matter raised serious legal issues, as he said to the media last week, where else would you address legal issues but in the court of law? Where else would you have such a definitive pronouncement on the so-called serious legal issue that the Speaker himself recognized in his statement done by the Supreme Court of Ghana? So as for the Speaker of Parliament, indeed, is law-abiding. I've known for a very long time to comply with the decision of the Supreme Court. As I said, it is non-negotiable in every civilized society. When an order of the court is given, no matter how highly placed or lowly placed the court is, even if it's a magistrate's court, you have to obey until it is set aside.
Speaking of knowing him,
what does it relate to this? The American Constitution itself, very thin, as you all know. Yet, the Speaker, that Constitution has survived over 200 years. I think that, of course, there are certain provisions in the Constitution that I think that ought to be amended, and I've expressed my views on it to the media. Article 78, Clause 1, which enjoins the President to appoint majority of his ministers from Parliament, ought to be amended. There ought to be that flexibility. I think that certain institutions, for example, the Electoral Commission, NCC, and what have you, the appointment of their heads has to be with the prior approval of Parliament. But not think that it calls for a complete overhaul of the Constitution. And indeed, this Constitution is very strong, and it is one Constitution which even goes as far as prescribing consequences of a failure to carry out the Supreme Court order. The Supreme Court order, the consequences are set out clearly in Article 2, Clauses 3, 4, and 5 of the Constitution, that any person to whom an order of the Supreme Court is directed shall duly carry out same. And the failure to carry out such an order, of course, has the consequences of a criminal punishment. In the case of the President, will even result in the President and Vice President will result in removal from office.
And finally, do you expect the Speaker of Parliament to recall Parliament on his own volition after this ruling, given that the court has spoken in such a wide manner?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as I said, it's an emphatic determination by the court on the matter, and the Speaker of Parliament has no option but to comply. I mean, I think that we must stop giving with one hand and taking with the other. as I said, it really amounts to double standards and an exercise in contradiction. For the Speaker of Parliament, in his address to the media, say that the case raises such serious legal issues and matters body on governance and all that, and then refuse to take back. So this country refuse to take part in the proceedings. I think in this country, we must recognize some people for who they are and what they do. This hypocrisy and double standards must cease. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter on all matters in the country, including an interpretation of the Constitution. Indeed, it's the only court solely seeks legislation to pronounce on the meaning of relevant provisions of the Constitution. And the Constitution means what the Supreme Court says it means, and nothing more. It is the same in America, and as I said, America, United Kingdom, and all advanced democracies, that is the order that they respect. There's no way a Supreme Court would give a decision in America or United Kingdom, and then the Prime Minister, apart from expressing his disagreement with the decision, or the President of America, of course, he has the freedom of expression to express his disagreement with the decision, but he has no option but to comply, and they usually comply, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Attorney General. We'll get pretty shortly to the leadership of the majority in the House who are here. We'll get to the majority leader shortly. So we'll get to the majority leadership shortly. Take a microphone. So the court has, by a 5-2 majority, affirmed the reliefs that were being sought by the majority leader, Alexander Affirming, in his action before the court.
Abusian for we short scene just a course and I say a course a live just a gusu course or Supreme Court as we speak. Ruling a bear a nina baby no that tag na a tally a Supreme Court no or amount for from unanimous 7 no, especially say a party a case in a court a Supreme Court abehono na all the judges no are motenase me 7 no obehano munyina yeden accord one side and no not just a year can the party betu just a year risk and as is a threat to the air national air security nene ye nyina etie we asum omokotena sie bibie wie no 2 judges per and then a speaker a yarding 2 judges 5 and then a speaker a yarding. Now said the no numbers game majority carries the vote. So nipa 5 are any speaker a yarding day. Speaker a seat or declared vacant no ya well to ogu. You see it is unconstitutional. Juma. So that means that 4 MPs now speaker a declare seat vacant no, they will continue to serve in parliament till say December 7th no. They will continue to serve. So as you speak no, a speaker seat no no declare vacant Juma. Afenyo ma kenen nkrofo yebeka omona chese omawini case no chese as you speak no yinyina hu de ko amanfo bebe na e ka se adewe de enye news mayen say ya na ye expect, and we all know Sabamba Benzo no nim de ne bisi dada. That was the reason why our media ni share no can say the judiciary and executive no omasene against our constitution. There was say omopa e Ghana fu nyina acho any constitution so yede acho then yama boni and as the direction of do mani acho no am free ho na yes democracy ni enjoy no baby nipa di no mani acho no anhwa na ankwa achiri na ho no ebia ho ni besua nyansa ehu se ade ne ba yenye ne partisan ye beka na ye ne se di e constitution ni kan clear ti ebuchafo we ni nsema ekoso o Supreme Court ache se yeda so gina ho because I the update na bring timenko e bia 100%.